is adding and subtracting in other bases. We have been adding so far. We did it in all the bases except for hexadecimal system. So let's try that. That is base 16. Alright. Oh, yeah, let's add. Remember, that uses A through F. So A, B, C, D, E, F. This is our little reference over here. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Alright, so we're going to add is, I'm going to make this a little bigger. 7, 2, B, A, 8. Right, this is base 16, hexadecimal. And let's add a 4, a 9, a 5, E, D. Hex. Right, the operation is add. So the first thing that I do when I'm adding these, especially in hexadecimal, I go ahead and write, like right above this, that B is 11, A is 10, so I know what they are, E is 14, and D is 13. Like that, alright? So I can sort of see what I'm adding. Alright, remember that our base is 16. That's the thing you want to keep in mind. The base is 16. Alright, so I get 8 plus 13. 8 plus 13 is 21. 21 is 5 more than my base. Let's just go ahead and stick the base on there for our answer. Yeah, 21 is 5 more than 16. Remember, you're always just carrying that base, so just carry 1 forward, which actually represents 1 base because you're a column ahead. You're a column over. Alright, 21 is 16 plus 5. It's 5 more than that. It's just like over here when I got 17. 8 plus, this is in the decimal system, 8 plus 9 is 17, which is 7 more than my base. 8 plus 13 is 21, which is 5 more than the base. Okay, 1 and 10 is 11, and 14 is 25. 25 is actually 9 more than the base, which we're going to carry forward. Alright, 1 and 11 is 12, plus 5 is 17, which is just 1 more than my base, which I'm carrying forward. Alright, watch this one. 1, 2, and 9 is 12. Alright, so we can actually put a little 12 here, but which represents 12C. Alright, that's actually a C right there. This is less than my base, so I don't have to carry anything forward. 7 and 4 is 11, which is a B. Alright, this is your answer. Should be BC195 in base 16, which is hexadecimal. All you have to do when you are adding, if you can just revert back to how you normally add in the decimal system, how you did it in grade school a long, long time ago, the numbers that you put down here at the bottom are how much more it is than your base. Alright, you carry your base forward, and then the remainder goes down there. Alright, let's look at subtraction. Subtraction, again, we're going to start off in the decimal system. Now it's taking you back. Where here, instead of carrying things forward, we're going to be borrowing. This is subtracting down here. Alright, let's start with the decimal system, which is base 10. Alright, let's do, I think these are the same numbers that we did up here, but we'll do this illustration, and then I'll move down a page. 5, 6, 0, 8. This time I'm going to be subtracting 3, 7, 1, 9. How about that? All this is decimal, so if you see I don't have any bases on here. All this is decimal, base 10. So if you recall how to subtract by hand, you can't take 9 away from 8, so I need to borrow. You always go 1 over to borrow. I don't have anything there, so let's go back to the 6. You cross the 6 out, make it a 5, and you're actually carrying your base back. You're borrowing your base. So it comes into a 10. This was a 0 here, so we borrowed 1 from there. But when you move over a column, that's your base, which is 10. When you're borrowing, you borrowed a base from there. Alright, I don't want to stop there because I'm going to get back to the 8. So let's take 1 from there. And again, I borrowed 1 from there from that column, but it actually is a 10, which you add to the 8. So now that's an 18. I know that it's probably been a while since you've done this by hand. You'd probably throw this in your calculator. But you have to remember how to do it this way so that you can do it in those other bases. Okay, now 18 minus 9 is 9. 9 minus 1 is 8. Okay, can't take 7 away from 5, so I have to borrow from this 5. Becomes a 4. What you're actually doing is bringing 10 back over here to add to the 5, so it's 15. 15 minus 7 is 8. 4 minus 3 is 1. 1889. All that's base 10. Right? That should be nothing new. Just something that you have to remember if you haven't done that by hand in a while. So now, keep that in mind as we switch to these other bases. I like to start with octal because the binary is just a bit tricky. So octal's not too bad. Alright, let's try one of these. Whoops. E. Alright, I think these actually might be even the same numbers. 5, 6, 0, 4. This is base 8. And this time we're going to subtract 3, 7, 1, 2. Alright, this is still base 8. Okay, we are subtracting. So remember, if your bottom number is larger, then you're going to have to borrow. Okay, but we can take 4 minus 2, which is 2, even in base 8. Okay, can't take 1 from 0, so we need to borrow from the 6. And what you're carrying back is not 10, but your base. And you would add it to whatever number was there. Alright, we borrowed 1 from here, but you actually borrowed a base. So what you carried back in base 10 was a 10. But this is base 8, so you're carrying an 8. You borrowed an 8. Alright, 8 minus 1 is 7. It's okay to have 8s or something larger than your base up here, because in base 10, you know, you can have 10s, 11s, and 12s and everything up here. Alright, can't take 7 away from 5, so let's go to this 5, borrow. Take 1 from it. But what you're carrying back here, what you borrowed was one of your bases, which is 8, which you add to the 5, and now that's a 13. 13 minus 7 is a 6. 4 minus 3 is a 1, and this is your answer. So if you have any other digit for base 8, if you have a digit that's 8 or more down here, then you know you did something wrong. Right, you know you did something wrong if you have a digit of 8 or larger. Alright, let's try very quickly one more with in base 8, and then I'll do binary and hex in one more video. Alright, let's do one more base 8. How about here where we'll have to borrow a couple times. 6, 5, 0, 1. And let's take away 3, 7, 7, 4. Alright, so we have to borrow some. This is subtraction. Can't take 4 from 1. Can't borrow from the 0. Let's go to the 5. Borrow 1 from there. What you're carrying back is the base, remember. In a decimal, that'd be a 10, but we're in base 8, so that's an 8. I'm still trying to get back to the 1, so let's take 1 away from there. Add it over here. My base is 8 plus the 1, that becomes a 9 now. Alright, 9 minus 4 is 5. Don't want to forget my base. 7 minus 7, that's okay. It's okay to have a 0 down there. Can't take 7 away from 4, so let's borrow from this 6. Now it's a 5. I'm carrying 8 back here. 8 plus 4 is 12. So 12 minus 7 is a 5. 5 minus 3 is 2. Alright, you might have to watch this video or these videos a couple times, and that's okay. That was a little bit of subtraction. We'll make one more video, and that should take us through the subtraction.